Okay, so I just got an award, an achievement that I wasn't expecting. Jack of all trades. Let's go take a look at that. In fact, that's a surprise. I wasn't expecting. I was waiting to get the what have we got? We've got Mason and Miner. That was dead easy. Just put 30 workers in for 3 years. So no problems there. But where's Jack of all trades? I think it's down. No, further up. Jack of all trades. There it is. Build a town over 200 people that has someone working in every profession for at least 5 years. Cool, excellent. So that's done. The only things that I'm waiting for at the moment are stonework and smelter. Produce 10,000 stone and produce 10,000 iron. Now, let me show you something. Let's pop up to the old town hall. Where are we? 981. So we're very close to the 1,000 now. And let's just look at our stone and iron production, because they're kind of insane. We're producing over 3,000 stone. And we're producing like almost like 4,500 iron. Let's just go to the graphs and check out stone. As you can see, like consistently. Let's look at this over like 5 years. So yeah, we've gone up to. I mean, we should be getting that 10,000 like any minute, to be honest. I mean, we've produced like a lot of it now. So we started producing 1,000 there. That's 5 years. Like I mean, yeah. I mean, we should. Like, if not already have it, to be honest. Has this slowed down? Yeah, because I haven't. And a pasture's got an infestation. I almost missed that. Empty those, and boom, that's dealt with. And a crop. Oh, empty that one, and that's dealt with. Boom. That's how easy that is. Where were we? Yeah. Let's go back to the town. So yeah, we should be getting those two awards like any minute. What about our citizens? I think it's just a case of throw in a few more houses and we're done, really, and then we'll have a bit of a roundup. Okay, so we're at 998, 999. Come on, guys, just the one more, and there's our 1,000 citizens. Woo! So, whoa, what a journey that has been. But I want to talk for a while kind of about what I've learned about the game, and run through, because I think I've made this like harder than it needed to be in like a lot of ways, which is kind of cool in one way, because the game is not easy. It's far from an easy game. And figuring out how to make it easy is complicated. There are lots of factors to take into consideration. However, once you've kind of played through, and you get the idea of what to do, you can actually beat the game pretty easily. So let's talk about economies. So we started off pretty much, I think, the right way with the firewood economy, and the firewood economy like raced us up to a couple of hundred population. At that point, what we should have done is go pretty heavy on sheep, I think. So we went pretty heavy on the cattle rather than the sheep. And I think if we'd have gone for sheep, put in a lot more tailors, and gone for wool coats as something to trade. Wool coats are by far the most profitable item to sell. And then, I mean, still maintain cows, but primarily go for the sheep to produce a lot of wool. Produce warm coats for your internal consumption. Trade wool coats, and trade the meat. Meat trades 3 for 1, and once you start trading that, the production from and the same with chickens, to be honest. A chicken and eggs. Eggs trade 2 to 1. So trading your meat and eggs it makes it very, very easy to produce like a massive oversupply of food. Let's talk about housing and pathing. Pathing is actually pretty important. That's something that I've come to sort of appreciate as the game has gone on. Making sure that you have housing that's and an appropriate amount of housing close to where people are working. It's something that I thought that I was doing, but I wasn't. I wasn't paying anywhere near enough attention to it. If you take a forest node, then you've got to provide like 6 houses. I was maybe putting in 4 houses. And what happens is, people are going to live potentially a long way away from work, and that really hammers your production. So it's something that's really worth paying attention to. Getting enough housing close enough to where people are working. So basic services, and I'm talking about tailors and blacksmiths. Now, this you kind of can't stress enough. Keep your people warm, clothed and tooled. So that means woodcutters, tailors, blacksmiths. Put them in. Now you've kind of got 2 options for how you place your professions. You can either put them around a market, and the vendors will bring in everything that they need, so that they've only just got they've got to go to the market, they get everything that they need from there, and you leave, just allow the vendors to bring everything in. The alternative is to put them out where the production is occurring. The issue that I have with that is that later in the game, for example, let's say you put your woodcutters out by your forest nodes. So you're producing the logs, you cut the wood. The problem is later in the game, when you start trading for those things, they're coming in from a trader, and to be honest, the forest nodes don't matter so much. And the same really goes for iron or pretty much anything, like pastures and whatever. Probably tailors and pastures are the one thing that isn't going to change, because those are going to be what you're trading with. You're not going to be buying those raw materials. Although the idea of buying wool and turning it into wool coats is not a bad idea, because you buy wool for, what is it, wool's 5, and then you sell the wool coats for like 15 or something. That is an option. So again, I think that those services, put them around a market rather than out at the production node. What else? In terms of like health and happiness, hospitals are essential. Make sure you have a hospital at each major population centre. Churches, happiness I haven't struggled with. Health, as long as you've got herbs and herbalists, not an issue. Herbs, if you're having trouble getting enough herbs, just trade for them. I'd actually probably cut back on herbalists and just buy the herbs that I need. Just have a few herbalists around just to help out a little bit. Graveyards, again, I haven't had any happiness issues. I think the whole churches and graveyards and taverns and whatever, not really too much of an issue. Put them in, but I don't think happiness is something that you struggle with in the game. Talking about trading, Traders. Have lots of traders. Now, I've gone through this game with 3. I would have been much happier with 4 or 5 traders. And the reason being, when you're setting up your auto purchasing, I'm buying like quite large quantities of everything. Like the food, I'm trying to buy like 5,000 of everything. And there isn't enough space in the merchant to buy really, really large quantities. So you're much better off having more trading posts. You'll get more traders. You'll get what you need more frequently. You'll have a much more consistent supply, and you can buy in smaller quantities. So, yeah, have more traders. I think that's probably one of the better tips. Traders, wool coats. Keep everybody supplied with what they need. Those are probably, and like sheep and cows are just insane. Trade the meat. Yeah, those have got to be the biggest tips. What else have I learned about the game? The game is fun. The game is challenging, and there are still some things that I want to do. And I like the fact that to get all of the achievements, you can't use all of the easy strategies. So, for example, one of the achievements is to get to 300 population without trading. Now that's going to be an interesting one, because then you are going to have to produce everything. So that puts a slightly different spin on it. So there's definitely replayability to this game. Generally, I like it. There are some limitations. I mean, some people have said the game looks a bit samey. The buildings look the same, which I guess is true to a degree. But like I've heard some people say that the graphics are not good, and that's just rubbish. I mean, the game looks awesome. This is a top quality game in terms of the looks and how it works. I mean, the level of bugs. Are there any bugs in the game? Yeah, I mean, I've had game crashes and stuff like that, but not to the point where it sort of would make you unhappy. And bearing in mind, one guy developed this game, I think it's unbelievable. Okay, before we wrap it up, a few tips that I didn't kind of get to fit into the series. Now, this one's kind of an interesting one. If you go to your options and go to game options and go down to status icon opacity, and change this down to about 50%, then assign all your labourers to be stone workers. Okay, let's go in and do that. So we'll apply that, resume the game. We go in and we've got like 112 labourers, right? But where are they? We can't see them. If you assign them all to be, like, if you didn't have stone, because for a long time I didn't have stone cutters, assign them to be, for example, stone cutters if you don't have stone cutters, or miners if you don't have miners, like whatever you don't have anything of. And let's do it. Let's assign like 600 to stone cutters. And then you'll be able to see where all of your labourers are. And as you can see, there's loads of them. So that's a little tip. So it's either, I guess it's Skye balls. So good one, Skye balls. And Bonnie Mortimer was suggesting not to build houses near mines because people get sick. I gotta say, I'm kind of not convinced about that one, Bonnie. Don't know. If that's the case, then great spot and good tip, but I have to say it's not something that I've seen. Although, to be fair, I haven't done that much with mine, so hey, maybe it is. What else? Now, Tom Beckett figured this out, and big props to Tom for figuring this out. Do you remember at the trader when I was saying we don't have a trader at the moment, that they weren't in alphabetical order, like when you went to set up your orders, that it wasn't in alphabetical order. Well, he noticed that, for example, logs is coming up in the W's. Well, his guess is that at some point in the game, or maybe behind the scenes, logs is actually called wood, and that's why it's coming up in the W's. And again, I forget some of the other ones that were out of order, but if you look at them, there's usually like an alternative name that you could come up with, which would put them in the right order. So it's just they're not being sorted on the right thing. So that's that one. That was a good one, I thought. Misfiring Chong told me about slaughtering animals, and it's something that I've never kind of mentioned, and I guess I should. Like, if you go to a pasture, there's a slider bar here, which it's kind of easy to miss, to be honest. And by adjusting this, you can adjust how many animals get killed, get slaughtered for food. So there are a few tips with this one. So, for example, if you're in a food starvation death spiral. Oh, and we just got the Stonework Award. Excellent. So hopefully we should get the Ironwork one pretty soon. That's good. Then, you know, like, crank this down, kill your animals, and hopefully the extra food might be enough to pull you out of that death spiral. Of course, you're still going to have the problem of feeding your people after you get out of the death spiral, and you've killed all your animals. So, yeah, you know, use with caution. But worth mentioning that is there. What else? Oh, Chris Parker. Chris Parker came up with a good one. You know how the traders have got, like for example, Bessica, who comes down here. Bessica comes down to see us every so often down here, and Bessica's about like 2,000 years old now. But he suggested that Bessica isn't the name of, like, the captain of the ship. That Bessica is the name of the ship. So the trader that comes is the ship, the Bessica, and it's the crew of the Bessica who we trade with. I thought that was a really cool idea, that the name is the ship. That's brilliant. Love that. And on, like, an aesthetics note, Daniel Umtanius, I don't know whether it's Daniel Tanius or Daniel Umtanius, whichever, he came up with a good one, like, aesthetics wise. If you look at orchards, and of course it'll be late winter, great, so we it's not a good time to see, the orchards have very, very different looks to them. You know, like, a cherry orchard looks completely different from an apple orchard. The different coloured trees and stuff like that. If you put little orchards behind houses, you can make them look like little gardens and stuff. So if you want to start getting, like, pretty with your villages, using the orchards is actually quite a good way to do it. I like that idea. I might have a little play around with that sometime. So there you go. There's a few tips that I didn't get into the series. People have I'm going to leave the subject of herbalists. People have talked about herbalists, about whether you should have foresters cutting or not, or whatever. And that conversation, I think, is going to go on. I mean, we've got foresters in here cutting, right? And we're producing loads of herbs. So, like, for me, I think have foresters and herbalists, but hey, that's it. So there you go. I think it's time to say goodbye, finally, to the Isle of Skye. It's been an amazing journey up to 1,000, and we're just over the 1,000 now. We have tons of absolutely everything. Anything that we're short of, we can buy. The population is completely sustainable. You could grow this much, much bigger, I think, without any problems whatsoever. I mean, look at our stocks of things like stone and iron. We can start actually selling those now. So yeah, we're in fabulous shape. It's been a fun ride. Thank you to all you guys who have commented, who've pointed out my boneheaded mistakes, who've sent in like great tips and great comments and great support. Really, really appreciated. And I guess it's time to say goodbye, and I'll see you for the next Let's Play series. Peace out, guys.